Hey guys, so I was browsing around at the antique store where I have a booth, and one of the other vendors had a newspaper from 1933. So I purchased it, being the newspaper connoisseur I am, and this article intrigued me. Federal agents start hunt for hoarded gold. So I started reading through it, and some of the things scared me. Now, of course, I've dug into this topic a lot, so I'm aware of some of it, but I started asking AI about the about what I was reading in the newspaper. So this is one. Did the FBI threaten to release gold hoarders' name to the public if they didn't turn in their gold? Now this says it's a myth. Well, I got the proof right here. So I'm going to go over this article with you and show you the parts that I Googled from this article and see what AI said. In case you think this newspaper is fake, you can see one, look at the edges. That's not something that happens, just in a couple years. That's something that takes 90 years to do. And you can see this is page 11 of this. And if I fold it back to the front page, you can see this is the New York Herald Tribune. You can see 2 cents in Greater New York, 3 cents within 200 miles, and 4 cents elsewhere. You can see June 7th, 1933. That's why in AI I was asking on June 6th, because in that article it mentions yesterday, which would have been June 6th. And also to prove this newspaper is real, I've never seen this before, but I guess they'll COA everything. Here's a COA for the newspaper, and you can look on eBay. This is a thing. So it shows that this has been certified. So this is 100% real newspaper. I didn't think it wasn't. I just wanted to show you that this came with a COA. And I'm going to put this on eBay when I'm done, but let's get into it. Federal agents start hunt for hoarded gold. 200 suspects questioned, 1,600 others face inquiry from headquarters here. Quest is for 600 million. 85 officers in local drive, some gone in airplanes. A gold rush led by 85 federal agents in search of hidden caches of the metal or gold certificates began yesterday and will extend throughout New York, New Jersey, and New England until all hoarders of gold have returned it to Federal Reserve in exchange for currencies. At the same time, agents in 21 other districts in the country set out on similar errands. Gold and gold certificates in the amount of approximately 600 millions are still outstanding. All agents are armed with copies of President Roosevelt's proclamation of April 5th, which places a penalty of 10 years in jail or $10,000 fine on those who willfully retain gold more than $100 in value. The period of grace for gold hoarders expired on May 1st. More than 2,000 names of persons suspected of retaining possession of large sum of golds in spite of the government's orders were on a list received by the Bureau of Investigations here from J. Edgar Hoover, director of the FBI in Washington. More than 200 persons on a list have already been questioned. Most of them promised to exchange their gold immediately. In some cases, false names and addresses had apparently been given. In other cases, suspects refused to comply with the agent's orders until they had consulted their lawyers as to the constitutionality of the procedure. The search is expected to require about a week. The Corps of Agents in New York, New Jersey, and New England District, under direction of Thomas F. Cullen, Chief Agent, and F.X. Fay, his assistant, started on their prospecting trips by train, automobile, and airplane. The principal centers of the search, in addition to New York, are Boston, Buffalo, and Syracuse. New York City has been divided into zones with special squads assigned to the financial district. The names on the list have been taken from the Federal Reserve Bank list of withdrawals of gold in recent years. The average hoard is believed to be from $100 to several $1,000, through some suspected to be more than $100,000, and the total for the area is estimated to be around 15 million. Experience in the last few weeks, when possessors of gold have voluntarily returned it, have taught the agents to expect to find hoards in unopposing homes, in poor neighborhoods, and as well as metropolitan safety deposit boxes. Few people known to be wealthy are on the list of hoarders, and no banks are included, though some corporations must account for their reported stock of gold. Cite presidential order. The agents have been instructed to read to the persons they visit the section of the president's proclamation which makes the retention of gold subject to criminal prosecution. Almost said prostitution. In the case of corporations, the punishment applies also to the officers and directors. George Z. Medali, United States Attorney, said that he received no specific instructions as to the prosecution of offenders and assumed that the reports would be sent directly to Washington. In New York, in order to expedite the search, some of those on a list will be called upon to appear at the office of the Bureau of Investigations at 370 Lexington Avenue for questioning. It is understood that if returns of gold are promptly made, no action will be taken, although the day of grace was passed more than a month ago. Before prosecutions are begun against recalcitrant hoarders, it is possible that the names of those who refuse to cooperate with the government will be made public. Officials were unable to say when the publicity, if any, would begin. No names on the list were made known. Exemption is granted to those who need gold in small sums for trading purposes and also to collectors of rare gold coins. So here are some questions I asked Google about the article. So first I asked, did the FBI send agents through New York on June 6, 1933 to confiscate gold? And AI said no, the FBI did not send agents on a rampage in NYC on June 6, 1933 to seize gold. So now to the next one. I asked Google, did the FBI ask people to come to the FBI office in New York on June 6, 1933? And Google said, no, the FBI did not specifically ask people to come into their NY office on June 6, 1933 to turn in gold. Oh my God. Okay, so the next one. I asked, did the FBI use airplanes in New York on June 6, 1933 to find hoarded gold? And their answer was no. There is no historical record of the FBI using airplanes in New York on June 6, 1933 specifically to find hoarded gold. Okay, you can read the rest for yourself. On to the next one. Did the FBI threaten to release gold hoarders' names in public in New York? And AI said, the notion that the FBI specifically threatened to release gold hoarders' name to the public in New York on June 6, 1933 as a scare tactic is a myth. Okay, you can read the rest, and it seems like AI is getting confused about the whole situation. And one more. So I thought maybe since the FBI at the time was named Bureau of Investigations, that maybe that was tricking it. Because the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation before 1935, were named the Bureau of Investigations, but it had already been around since 1908, I believe. So I took the federal part out of it and asked AI, did the Bureau of Investigations use airplanes in New York on June 6? And AI said, while the U.S. government, including agencies like the Bureau of Investigations, was actively working to curb gold hoarding in mid-1933 under the Executive Order 6102, there is no specific record or widespread historical account confirming they used airplanes in New York on June 6, 1933 to find hoarded gold. So after reading that article and looking at the results that AI gave me, which it was no on every single search, I wonder why. Why is AI lying to us? Why is AI hiding this information? Why is AI covering up for the government? And why is it that most people in the United States are unaware that this even happened? And even the people that own gold or even some coin collectors might not even know about this. You know, the veterans and the deeply educated ones, we all know about it, and we know how serious it really was. And there's even AI powered, I guess you would say, AI powered YouTube videos that are becoming very popular, and that give you this information. And a lot of the times, some of those videos on YouTube are the only information you'll find. And I'm pretty sure there's a human behind that. I'm guessing that they get an article or they might type something and then they have just an AI voice read it. And I've even seen some of the videos where it has an AI person. And from afar, you cannot tell the difference. You cannot tell if it's a real person or not.
In 47 days, gone. From Comex vaults, the largest drain since 1980. You know what else happened in 1980? Silver hit $49.
As soon as you zoom in, you look at the lips, and you also listen to the speech patterns, you know within a second that it's AI. But it's weird because when you search Google, their AI, I guess you would say Gemini, will lie to you. But there's also videos that I guess they're not truly AI. I guess they're a person behind a keyboard that is using a AI voice to present these videos. Well, why are they telling us the truth? So you have to be careful of propaganda. I'm not saying those videos, those YouTube videos, are propaganda. I think those YouTube videos might actually be the truth, but propaganda can be true. Not all propaganda is lies. Some of it is reworded. Some of it is like portrayed in a different light, or some are meant to be a little more heavy and dramatic than they truly are. But it's just intriguing to me, because us as humans, us as the regular norms, the normies, us, it's kind of hard to get the correct information. And this is why I love newspapers, because this is what was actually happening in real time during those times. So I know now that this newspaper and what I read from it is true. And it seems like those AI voiceover videos are good. I'm going to say they're good. Now, they're not, it's not good that people actually think it's a person. That part is scary. I've seen some of the comments on some of those AI like financial videos where people are arguing if it's AI or not. Me and a lot of my subscribers are smart enough to pick up on the thumbnail alone that it's AI. Or if we see a video or hear a video, we know within seconds it's AI. But some people aren't. So the point I'm getting to is, since I have the proof here and since we know what really happened, why is Google, why is Gemini AI telling us it's a myth and that it didn't happen? Leave a comment below and let me know what you think, because this is mind blowing. I mean, not from reading the newspaper, I know that's true, but from Google, from Gemini telling me it's a myth. That's what's mind blowing. Thanks, guys. Please comment. I think this video will blow up, and it needs to. And also share it so you can actually show people proof that AI is lying to you and that the newspapers are true. Thanks.